It's almost been 6 months since the cancellation of Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, and it's still something I really can't wrap my head around. Something like this has never happened for the Kingdom Hearts series before, where a game that had been in development for several years randomly gets cancelled. And although I, in a way, was happy to actually hear about the cancellation based on the prospect that this game ends up getting repurposed into a proper video game and not one built for smartphone with gacha elements attached to it, this title was supposed to fill in the gap while we wait for Kingdom Hearts 4, which we know is long and strenuous. At the end of the day, it was gonna be some brand new Kingdom Hearts content, and it doesn't really matter what it is. If it's Kingdom Hearts, it's cool. There were quite a few aspects of this game that I was genuinely looking forward to, and so it's not as if the announcement of the cancellation comes as complete celebration and excitement. It's certainly making the wait for Kingdom Hearts 4 all the more harder because it just feels like we're going without, whereas Missing Link was supposed to be there to tie us over. The reason that Square Enix gave that led them to the cancellation of the game was that they mentioned that they couldn't see any viable way of maintaining the game for the foreseeable future, which is insane given that this company has been dealing with live service mobile titles for many years now. Albeit there is an absolute graveyard of these, many have failed, there actually have been a lot that have come from Square Enix that have remained for long amounts of time. I still think that this was an awful reason to give for the cancellation, just because it tells us that, did you not think this through? Like, as you were actively developing the game for like 4+ years, is this not something you kind of spent time thinking about? How can we make engaging, consistent content? Because for the sort of game that this is, that should be one of the first steps you sort of pay attention to within the process of the game development. I really think that they just should have come out by saying, hey, we're gonna repurpose this into like a remake, into a proper title. And I think most people would have been fine with that, if not ecstatic with that. Now, I personally think the reason why it got cancelled was because the higher-ups thought, this is taking, for one, way too long, but number two, for all of the time and resources that we've thrown into the development of this project, is it going to be successful enough to make that money back plus more? Probably not, given that the game is GPS focused, which, as we know, almost all of these are dead within the first few months of release. The cancellation of this game does hit hard though, because as we know, a mobile Kingdom Hearts title is just as important as any other Kingdom Hearts game, whether it be a subtitled entry or a mainline entry, as Kingdom Hearts Union Cross proved. For most other video games out there that have their mobile entry cancelled, yeah, most of the time you can just kind of rub it off your shoulder and you're like, okay, well, whatever, let's just move on to the next thing. Who really cares? But throughout various interviews, Tetsuya Nomura made it incredibly clear that there is strong importance backed behind Missing Link. This ranges from a bunch of things, like mentioning that the experience was not going to be compact and that its length was looking very similar to that of your traditional normal Kingdom Hearts experience. I'd assume that this would have to be with all of the content that would be added over time added together. Nomura also brought on a totally new writer into the Kingdom Hearts series, Ryuko Fukuzawa, who had previously worked on Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward. The same is also happening with Kingdom Hearts 4 as well, but this is to bring new perspectives and ideas into the series. Well, of course, Nomura will be overseeing what is written for all Kingdom Hearts games going forward that are done by brand new writers. This can potentially bring an entirely new take and tone into the game's narrative. Nomura even mentioned back in 2023 that at that point in the process of development, the team already had enough cutscenes for a full release of the game. But one of the most crucial aspects of Missing Link's importance is its ties to the upcoming Kingdom Hearts 4. Nomura made it very clear to Game Informer that the game is connected in many ways to Kingdom Hearts 4. The easiest way to get new information and hints about KH4 would be first to play Missing Link. It's a little bit awkward because now we're most definitely not going to be playing Missing Link before Kingdom Hearts 4. He also mentioned that some figures that appear in Missing Link are also tied to KH4. As we know, Sigurd is likely going to be in the game, as he is the narrator in the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. Nomura had also previously mentioned that the game isn't absolutely required in order to play KH4. They were developing both Missing Link and 4 with newcomers in mind, without requiring had played any of the other previous Kingdom Hearts titles. I remember him and Square Enix also saying the same about Kingdom Hearts 3 though, and it's kind of like, yeah, in ways it might be a self-contained story, but at the same time, no, not really. You're gonna get most out of the experience if you already have prior knowledge of what's happened over the past 20 plus spanning years. And as we know, in order to understand what's going to happen in this next coming saga, you do probably need to know a good amount of what happened throughout Union Cross, given that a ton of characters that appear throughout Union Cross are going to be vital throughout this next coming saga of Kingdom Hearts. But also, I imagine a lot of what was going to happen throughout Missing Link, there were also going to be, like Nomura said, some ties in Kingdom Hearts 4, where you would eventually hit a moment in KH4 and be like, oh, so that connects up with this point in Missing Link. Now it makes sense! Like, Kingdom Hearts is based on that foundation, getting to a point in its narrative where you're like, oh my god, really? So that's why that works, and that's how that does this? Oh my god! Fortunately now, throughout KH4, although we'll never know the original version with the experience in mind for people that had already played Missing Link by that point, we'll never really know, like, what moment would have been a moment like that, as although I don't think that the cancellation of Missing Link is going to have drastic effect on the development and the story of Kingdom Hearts 4. I'm sure in parts there will be some things that might have to be rewritten. It's crazy because Missing Link is supposed to be this big blank drooping hole in the Kingdom Hearts timeline that is now considered to be a blank era of history, set between the events of Kingdom Hearts Union Cross and Kingdom Hearts Dark Road. This is obviously an important blip in the timeline that will be crucial for the future of the series, otherwise there's no reason why Tetsuya Nomura would have created this in the first place. One of its central themes would have been Bloodlines, something kind of new to Kingdom Hearts, in which it would have explained the lineage of Xehanort, Ericus, and other characters. There most likely would have been more to do with Odin, the master of Ericus and Xehanort, as Nomura said that Odin's master entrusted Odin with a mission which actually ties in with the identity of the blue-robed individual, the figure that takes baby Xehanort into the future into Destiny Islands to literally raise Xehanort. It's thought that this blue-robed figure is our player character. I'd say that Missing Link would have explained the ancient Keyblade legacy connection that both Demyx and Luxord have, as Union Cross explains Luxine and Marluxians. They're the only two remaining Organization 13 characters where we know nothing about their past or their somebodies. And also why Scarlet Kylum looks like this. Nomura did mention that the reason why there is such a difference in atmosphere is due to the fact that Scarlet Kylum is positioned as a multi-layered city, with the new city being built on top of the old one, but how exactly did we get to that point? Missing Link would have explained that. Missing Link was going to introduce a whole bunch of stuff, and in which it already kind of has, through the small amounts of story stuff that we did get through the closed beta test. If you're interested to learn about all of that, I have a separate video talking about that. I'll leave that in the description down below. However, I do want to discuss a couple of story details that were found within the game's files that really help paint the picture of Missing Link's importance and sort of the premise that this game was going to be based around. Just like Union Cross, the Book of Prophecies was going to be a central plot device yet again for Missing Link. While the original goal of the Union groups in Union Cross was to defeat Heartless to collect Lux, which is light, the central goal of the Society groups in Missing Link is to collect pieces. These are supposed to be pieces of the Book of Prophecies. The goal here is for the societies to collect pieces in order to restore the book. It's not meant to be the original copy though, as it's explained, this is a duplicate. And I'm assuming here that the character pieces that you were going to collect in Missing Link that had the various different familiar Disney and Kingdom Hearts characters that you would collect and use for your special abilities in the game, much like medals in Union Cross, are the referred to pieces of the book that the Society collect, as it's explained, the pieces heighten Keyblade wielders' capabilities. So although all societies do share the same goal of collecting pieces to restore the Book of Prophecies, at the same time too there was also a divide as well, as whichever society had more pieces meant that that society was more powerful. Of course, we also had the bloodline divide as well, those who had the original blood of Ephemer and those who didn't. But the second important goal here, to repair altered prophecies, future events that had somehow changed from the original outcome that the Book of Prophecies had originally written. It's mentioned that at some stage the Book of Prophecies was altered by some sinister, unimaginable power. So you as the player in Missing Link would take on scenarios where you visit worlds projected from the Book of Prophecies, much like Union Cross, but the events that are unfolding are altered events from the future. Through you defeating a boss, taking down a group of Heartless, or whatever the event entails, that's you protecting the timeline, ensuring that events are flowing as they should based on what's written in the Book of Prophecies. We do know of 2 times where the predetermined outcome of the Book of Prophecies has been altered. One with Brain during Union Cross, where he became a virus to save the Dandelion members that remained within the digital version of Daybreak Town. And number 2, Sora at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 using the power of waking to save his friends. The robed figure kind of alludes that the Child of Destiny is one that can actually alter the predetermined course of events, which originally was thought to be Xehanort. However, Xehanort ends up walking the dark road and becoming the Seeker of Darkness. So this role of being the Child of Destiny is at least theorized to be Sora. Although the mention in Missing Link that whoever or whatever ended up altering the future is an unimaginable, sinister power, is that necessarily referring to Sora and what he did in the future? Could it refer to Brain? Or is there someone or something else in the mix that also has the power to change events? We know that the original Darknesses had watched the Master of Masters write the Book of Prophecies, so they know certain things that are bound to happen. Is it possible that one of them has the ability to change events destined to happen? That right there is at least the original premise of Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, and if Missing Link is to return at some point in the future, it is very possible that this outline could potentially change. But it does tell you that this game was going to have an incredibly important narrative, and this narrative, everything that goes on with the Book of Prophecies, would have directly linked up to what's happening with the Foretellers in Kingdom Hearts 4. So knowing this, and everything else that we already know about Missing Link, this obviously goes to show that there is not a chance in the world that Tetsuya Nomura is simply just going to scrap this narrative, act like it never happened. It at least makes me happy to know that we now have a chance for this game to get a redo, to have the chance to actually be presented in a much better format. I still think it's insane that Union Cross, such an important, integral part of Kingdom Hearts' overarching story, was presented the way it was. The game was needlessly dragged out because of the nature of it being a mobile live service title, and it likely would have ended up being the same for Missing Link. At least now, there is that chance that we might actually get a proper console entry of that game, and for Tetsuya Nomura to explain its story in a more cohesive manner. However, I wanted to get this video out because I felt as if not everyone, although I know a lot of people who pay close attention to Kingdom Hearts already kind of know the importance that Missing Link was going to offer. I feel like there is also a large amount of people who kind of didn't really understand how important this game was going to be. Talking about Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, I have something incredibly cool that's coming out to do with it later on this week. It's been a long time coming, but it's kind of finally ready, so I'm really excited to get that out to you guys. It's going to be epic, it's going to be a cool showcase, so look forward to that. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Be sure to slippity slap that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. A big thanks to my wonderful patrons and YouTube members. Thank you guys so much for the continued support. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and we'll talk again real soon.